Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review. Picked up a 4K copy of Mickey 17. Let's talk about it. I'm a fan of the director. Bong Joon-ho wrote, directed this, produced it, really wanted to make it. It's based on a book called Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. Robert Pattinson stars in it, got a few other big stars in it. Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, to name a few. Only grossed about $133 million on a $125 million budget, so it didn't make it back enough to call it a hit. Matter of fact, it lost a lot of money for Warner Brothers. If you don't know Bong Joon-ho, he won Best Picture for Parasite, which was a really good movie, but a divisive movie, kind of like this one is. I don't think he's made too many movies in his career where there's not some kind of social commentary going on underneath. I like layers in my movies. I like movies I get more out of the second time. This movie failed at the box office, didn't make its money back, but reviews are generally good. It's about 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, although the public is a little more divided. I got to say, here about 12 hours after watching it, I really enjoyed it. Matter of fact, I'm almost ready to rewatch it again. It's a little long at about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Robert Pattinson plays a character who's trying to get off Earth. A lot of people are trying to get off Earth. This takes place in an unknown future, not too far in the future, but they want to get off Earth for whatever reason. And the only way he could do it, because he doesn't have money or any skills, is to become an expendable. Not many people want to become an expendable. And what is an expendable? Well, one thing, it's not legal on Earth, but they can do it in space. They basically copy you, everything that is you, and then send you on dangerous missions to die. Then when you die, they just reprint you the next day. Within 20 hours of your death, a new one pops out, and they back up your memories from the last backup you took or whatever. You can already see some of the logistical problems, some of the metaphysical problems, some of the religious problems, so on and so forth. And the movie touches on all of this. And it's done in a very lighthearted, black comedic way. And knowing that going in, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with the movie if you're taking this as a serious sci-fi movie because, well, Parasite was a fairly serious, with some dark comedic moments, but a pretty serious, almost, horror thriller by the end of it. But this is a different kind of animal, kind of goes back to some of his other lighter stuff. He's done some movies that had some lighthearted themes within the science fiction or horror genre. I think Robert Pattinson is fantastic in the movie because he's got to play at least two roles. You find out later in the movie, and I'm not going to get into any spoilers because I want people to see this movie, that there are personality variations. Like at one point, somebody trips over a wire while they're reprinting him and re-encoding his memories and stuff, and the wire pops out and goes back in, and that guy's a little more aggressive when he's reprinted. His girlfriend, who knows him through all of his iterations, unleashes some of these facts later on in the movie. So the first 30 minutes are showing how we got here. Like it opens with the scene of, why didn't I die? I should have died in this. And his buddy is not going to save him because he's going to die and get reprinted in 20 hours or whatever. So then it kind of goes backwards and shows you how we got to that point. So the first 30 minutes are kind of flashback, and then we get right back to that and kind of see that from a different perspective. At this point, you know what's going on. Then as it gets into it, it's an interesting story. I found it fascinating from beginning to end. I never got bored during the runtime. They gave the director an incredible amount of money to realize this vision. Only because he won Academy Awards with Parasite was he able to do something like this. And unfortunately, he probably won't be given this much money again because it just didn't perform well. But I think if people watch the movie, actually watch it, and not listen to the noise of the internet, you would actually find there's a lot of great things in here. People have talked about Mark Ruffalo kind of hamming it up as this kind of caricature of dictators that we all know. And yeah, he's doing that, but I think he's solid in the film. I also thought Toni Collette, who's also playing a similar type character, solid. And I think everybody is incredibly solid in the film. For those that don't know how movies are made, you read scripts, you take the role, there's reads, you perform these scenes in front of cameras, the director tries to capture the best part of the scene, that kind of thing. That's not how Bong Joon-ho works. He will just film the line. He doesn't need the whole scene. He storyboards everything out before the film is made. In all of his movies, he sees it in his head, every shot. He is a true filmmaker. So Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, and several other people, Robert Pattinson, talk about they'd never worked this way before, but they all want to work this way again. They really like the fact that he kind of sets it up. He knows exactly what he wants, and he goes, okay, deliver this line in this context, and here it is. Boom. And so it's weird that the movie doesn't feel choppy, but it's incredibly well edited and moves quickly. They spent so much money on the costumes, the makeup, the effects. Everything just works in this film. It was really poised to be something huge. And I get it. I mean, this isn't a story that everybody's going to walk out of the theater and go, yeah, I want to go see that again. But for me, I like thought-provoking science fiction. I like dark comedy. I like most of the people in the film. It was well-directed, well-acted, and what really blew me away was the music. When the 4K pops up, you get a static menu with this music, and I was off like popping popcorn or whatever, and the music started. I'm like, wow, that's really rich and full, and it's just a really good sound. Well, it turns out the soundtrack has won awards, and this is the composers that have worked with him on several movies, including Parasite. All in all, I got to give it a thumbs up. How I got it? In the United States, they released a Blu-ray, a 4K, and a Steelbook. And I'm a Steelbook collector, but the Steelbook was pretty pricey and still has really not gone on sale. The Blu-ray has gone on sale, and the 4K has gone on sale, but the Steelbook came out in May. Not gone on sale, and it's pretty pricey. So, and I got to be honest, I'm not one of those people who cares about the cover of a movie because you're really only going to see the spine in my collection until I pull it out. So if the cover is, some of these people are like, I'm not buying the movie because the cover's crap. Dude, if I like the movie, I really don't care what's on the cover. But to say that I didn't like the Mickey 17 cover, I didn't. The Blu-ray, the Steelbook art was just okay. But in the UK, they got a really cool Steelbook. It's a lot of blues. It's 2 Robert Pattinsons on the cover instead of this garish yellow design. And my store that I've mentioned several times, Atomic Movie Store, had it for cheaper, the UK Steelbook, cheaper than I could have bought the US Standard Edition 4K for. So it came in yesterday, and it wasn't top of my list because I know the movie failed. And although I like Parasite, it's not one of those movies I revisit a lot, so I'm not sure that this movie's going to be one of those movies either. So I put it on a little early. I was hoping to get out and film the sunset last night, which I did after the film, which was another bonus and probably why the evening seemed so much better. That was a nice icing on the cake of the day. But the movie was really great. If you like thought-provoking science fiction movies and darkly funny stuff, I mean, he dies repeatedly, and it's not in a Monty Python kind of slapstick way. It's like, oh my God. And everybody asks him, it's kind of a running joke in the movie, so what's it like to die, man? I mean, like, you've died like a bunch. And from the trailer, they give something away that, well, 2 of them, one of them doesn't really die, and they print another one. And they have 2 distinct personalities, and there's growth for both of these personalities that Robert Pattinson has to play. I found that really great, really fun to watch, and how they dealt with things differently. It just, the whole movie worked for me. Again, not my favorite movie of the year, but it's going to probably be in the top 20. I don't know if it'll be in the top 10. We're a little over halfway through the year, and I've got a lot of things to watch, but I really enjoyed Mickey 17. Again, not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. Really interesting science fiction, a well-realized world, and a lot of great acting, some of which you may connect with, some of which you may not, but I thought it all works as this kind of allegory for a lot of things. And in the bottom line, the movie's about what it is to be human and what's wrong with that. So check out Mickey 17. The 4K picture was great. It wasn't super sterile like a lot of 4Ks can be of modern movies. It looked like it was filmed on film. I don't think it was, but it had that kind of filmic feel. It didn't look sharp, too razor-edged or anything. I thought everything was fine. It just didn't blow me away as far as the spectacular. There were some scenes that were really great, but there's not a lot of things in the movie to go, oh, wow. Like, the whole movie's built on a series of grays, from the ships to the colors, the clothes, and everything, except for a couple of characters. That's done on purpose. So the movie doesn't exactly pop, but some of the alien stuff, some of the alien planet stuff, that all does great. The Atmos, though, was really great. There's a lot of little creatures in certain scenes, especially in caves. And that's rendered really well, like my house became this cave with the reverberations off the wall and off the ceiling and everything. The growls and stuff when we find out the creatures can talk, not to give anything away, but I think that's in the trailer as well. There's a translator. It all, it was probably a 4.5 out of 5. One of the better. There was some deep rumbly stuff with some explosions and things like that. I wouldn't give it a full 5 reference quality, but it was really great Dolby Atmos. Really great Dolby Vision was applied. Overall, I'd give the movie as a movie probably about a 4 out of 5, and the 4K about a 4.5 out of 5. How about that? Somebody asked me the other day, why don't I do ratings? And ratings are kind of subjective. A 4 for everybody is not going to be a 4 for everybody, or a 5 for everybody. And I can count on like 1 or 2 hands the number of 5s I would give out. We'll talk about that in another podcast. So anyway, check out Mickey 17 if you're so inclined. Don't believe the press that it failed. It was one of the biggest bombs of the year. It's actually a really well-made movie and a lot of fun if you're into this kind of thing. Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. Look out for the sunset videos I filmed last night. Those are also going to be posted about the time that this comes up. So thanks for listening to a podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a spectacular day.